Welcome, all wrists, and welcome to another review. This is the Grand Seiko SBGH273 from the popular Seasons collection, a group of watches that sport detailed dials in a 62 GS format. This particular timepiece represents autumn, and I'll be diving into what I see when I look at the watch and discuss what the timepiece does well and what it could improve on. Here are the dimensions and specs. It has a case diameter of 40mm, a lug-to-lug of 47mm, a lug width of 21mm. It has a thickness of 12.9mm, water resistance of 100 meters thanks to a screw down crown, and 55 hours of power reserve from its 9S85 movement. Depending on where you are in the world, the dial on the SBGH273 might represent something different to you. According to Grand Seiko, the timepiece is said to evoke Japan's night sky during autumn, but to me, I see something else. To me, the blue, in combination with its fine texture, represents a vast morning ocean with calm waves dancing with the wind. The blue takes on many shades of light and dark in the sunlight, and its pattern casts small shadows which form a ripple pattern like that on the sea's surface. The gold GS logo and hand contrast well against the blue and creates imagery of the sun shedding its light across the blue backdrop. It's an amazing sensation when staring at this dial, how something static can create motion through texture and color. The blue here is versatile. It's a safe yet eye-catching color and pops extremely well under bright lights. Its blue exudes a rich hue, boasting a bright sheen in the sun and a navy tone in low light settings. The dial alone gives you a more casual look when you're out and about and simmers down in formal occasions, where its details come to life in the light and hide within the shadows in the night. It's an interesting dynamic which gives the watch so much of its character and is what makes it so interesting to look at. The level of detail here will leave you captivated for hours, and I never seem to get bored of the dial. It's not a pattern that jumps out at you. It's surprisingly subtle, allowing the watch to fly under the radar. From afar, it looks like a blue dial. Up close, it reveals its true nature, presenting an impressive visual experience for those who pay attention. You won't find any lume. Instead, we are given exceptionally finished indices with sharp, polished bevels flanking a finely ribbed surface. These contrasting finishes work wonders in catching the light, giving them a jewel-like effect and making them more visible, reducing the need for lume. The absence of lume also allows the watch to play into a more formal setting by giving it a cleaner look. These indices might as well be whetstones based on how sharp the hands are. Their polished, beveled edge contrasts against their brushed surface and gives it an iconic sword-like appearance, sharpening as they glide across each hour marker. Again, you won't find any lume, but it's not really needed considering their finishing and overall aesthetic of the dial. The hands and indices complement the dial so well because they're simple. Lume would be a distraction, and differing shapes would feel out of place. Their profile is something you'd expect, but they're incredibly refined when you take a closer look, allowing the dial to take prominence. Your eyes are instantly attracted to the dial first, exploring its texture and color. Then they veer into the indices where you find hidden gems of detail, which just add to the awe of the watch. Now, the indices and hands aren't the only sharp things here. The case on the SBGH273 is incredibly sharp, not in the sense that it will cut you, in the sense that its lines and connecting edges are extremely crisp and precise. The SBGH273 presents itself on Grand Seiko's 62 GS case, a case that is quite unique when we compare it to other watches. The case features many facets and edges, giving it an aggressive and angular appearance, and accentuates its features by remaining bezel-less. It has drilled lugs to make strap changes easier, but its awkward 21mm lug width can make it tricky to access a larger variety of strap options. While this is a drawback, the lug spacing allows the watch to take on a more slender look by slimming down the lugs and introducing a more tapered bracelet. Being a Grand Seiko, it's going to feature some sort of Zaratsu polishing, which can be found on its faceted lugs with brushing on the inner surfaces and sides of the case. The absence of a bezel really allows the shape of the case to come through and shows off those sharp details. The Zaratsu finish, in turn, helps to highlight each facet and gives the watch a blade-like look. The polish complements the case and places emphasis on its lines. And that's what I like so much about the 62GS case. Its architecture is the main focus here, and with such a unique construction, a normal high polish would be a disservice. The combination of Zaratsu polishing and distinctive design exhibits what Japanese culture is all about: attention to detail. Sadly, all the attention seemed to be placed on the watch head, as the bracelet feels quite lacking. When we compare it to the angular nature of the case, the bracelet seems off. It simply doesn't suit the watch. Here, we get a 5-link construction with polished intermediate links like a fancy oyster-style bracelet. It features polished transitioning edges and overall feels soft to the touch with its flowing links. Now, I like the look of this bracelet, just not on this watch. The bracelet doesn't include any facets or angles, and it lacks variety, being much of the same as Grand Seiko's other bracelet offerings. Personally, I would have loved to see them introduce some bevels and edges, and we know they can do this, because Seiko can do this, like they've done on their recent King Seiko offerings. I will say though, this bracelet does help to emphasize the angular case due to their contrasting shapes, and it transitions from the case much better than I expected, which I attribute to the lack of bezel. You won't find any micro adjustment. Instead, you're given half links to play with, which can make it a little difficult for some to find the perfect fit. The clasp has a sleek profile and functions as you'd expect, except it has a protruding lip, which does catch onto things from time to time, and it just looks untidy. On the wrist, the watch wears quite well and is very comfortable. Its polished case and bezel-less appearance makes the watch appear smaller, feeling more like a 39mm watch than its described 40mm. The lack of bezel also allows the bracelet to start earlier and exposes its curve, giving it a more contoured experience during wear. Behind its display case back is the 9S85 high beat movement, giving the watch a smooth sweep. Not as smooth as a spring drive, but much smoother than your typical mechanical watch. It's rated to +5 to -3 seconds a day and beats at 36,000 beats per hour or 10 beats per second. It's not the most decorated movement, but it does have some nice finishing elements. Unfortunately, it's obstructed by the Grand Seiko line logo, which is a shame as I like to enjoy the movement as much as the dial. Overall, the watch head is outstanding. It's incredibly finished with its attention to detail and boasts fine textures which play so well with the light. Its faceted case and unique look make it a distinct timepiece in the watch world as well as within Grand Seiko's own catalogue, while maintaining a sense of subtlety and familiarity with its blue dial colour. The watch head is fantastic, but it's let down by the subpar bracelet. It's not a bad bracelet, it just doesn't fit the overall design of the timepiece and lacks a multitude of features. Strapping up the watch is probably the better option here and will allow you to play into its casual sporty side or formal side by switching out straps. Nevertheless, the SBGH273 is a great watch, and my main gripe is the bracelet integration with the 62GS case. Let me know what you think about the watch in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more watch content. I'll see you in the next one.